get down an issue with some of our things. So please hold takeoff for runway 10. We're
3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Hope everybody out there is off to a great day here today. There's been a lot of speculation, a lot of talk about everything following the Biffle plane tragedy. A lot of questions about who's flying the plane, if there was engine failure, different things that have taken place. I have watched a lot of things from aviation experts who are taking their different views about what happened right here. And I've run across one that has really caught my eye, and for various reasons. One being that this pilot is very experienced in these planes that the Biffle family and friends were in, and also because he has radio transmission from the Biffle plane during this flight, which really caught my eye, and some other aspects that he was able to note that I've not seen anywhere else. And I wanted to bring this up because I don't know if anybody else follows this stuff right here as far as watching some of the other channels. So I wanted to bring this up to the racing community. I kind of debated on even doing this because, again, this is speculation, but a lot of it seems to fall in line. And I just wanted to bring this out for different people. Now, Dan Gryder is a gentleman, again, who is very familiar with these planes. He actually holds the single pilot exemption for the plane that the Biffle family was on, and he's also an instructor. He offers training, ferry, and test flights in just about any single twin tail wheel radial turboprop or Citation 500 series, again, which this plane was. And his meaning behind doing this right here is because he's having an issue with the NTSB. Let me clarify this right quick, because what he's saying is it's going to take 18 months for the NTSB to come out with their full report and everything else, and in the meantime, other pilots could be in these planes, flying these, be in a similar situation, and have the same outcome. So he wants this information out there to hopefully save lives in case anybody else is in this situation. And he goes on to note a lot of aspects to this. So, but he classified this as an easy crash to diagnose right here. And again, going back to his years of experience with these planes and his years of training and everything else. Now, one of the things that he wanted to bring up right here was that his aspect, his view on this right here was that Dennis Dutton was flying the plane. He was the pilot, and that his son Jack was in the co-pilot seat with everything that took place right here. And he wanted to make note that at this time, by the FAA certifications, credentials, and everything, that Dennis Dutton did not have a single pilot exemption for being able to fly this plane as a captain without a second in command. And he showed his credentials right here, where it shows that he needed a second command. And he did go on to say, though, this could have been, he could have got these in the last 30 days, and the FAA hadn't updated everything yet as far as this right here, but that he did need a second command to fly this plane. He also went on to say that his son Jack did not have a multi-engine rating and was not Citation certified. So the biggest thing with this right here was that without him having a single pilot exemption, that this flight would be illegal to take place. And this is where I have interesting views and aspects on this. If anybody knows more about this, please comment down below, because I have questions now of what this would do with legalities. Possible lawsuits, different things that could take place with this. So if anybody's got information on that you want to share, please put it down below. He also went on to note that Dennis come from the Air Force and started flying for Delta Airlines. And he was used to flying big planes, really, really big planes. And Dan went on to note, actually quote, that the Citation, was his quote, what he called this, was an underpowered pig. And that with a single engine, it would not perform like the big planes that Dennis was used to flying. So basically saying that with Citation losing an engine, it's not going to control or fly like the big jets that Dennis flew with Delta. Now, I have no way of knowing if he's flown these planes before. He could have flown this plane before for Greg. I don't know. So again, speculation. Please don't hold me accountable for any of this information. But he went on to say that it specifies in the citation manual that this plane can't fly with landing gear down in full flaps, especially at max weight capacity. And by all of his means of noting the weight of this right here, it was at full capacity. And just saying that there's no way this plane can maintain altitude with landing gear down, full flaps. And he did go on to say that they were trying everything that they could to keep this plane from having this incident. It's a very interesting episode. I encourage you to go watch it again. It's Probable Cause, Dan Gryder. And but what he was saying is that at this situation right here with the engine going out, the proper thing to do, what they're trained to do, is to go to an altitude of 3,000 to 4,000 feet and turn on the autopilot. And that this will basically allow this plane to fly for 2 hours under this situation right here. You declare an emergency, let them divert you to a different airport or a better situation than where you're taking off from. And he also went on to note that this plane, the Biffle plane, traveled 26 miles over this 10-minute period before it crashed. And at the Charlotte Douglas Airport, which is our big airport here in Charlotte, was only 32 miles away. So it's almost sad in that aspect to know that there could have been a different outcome with this had that taken place. But it's obvious that by what he's saying, with everything, that they were trying everything that they could to handle this themselves. He went on to note this right here, because I had questions about this, that when this plane come in like this right here, that he thinks they were trying to land at the opposite end of runway 10, but the weather was just too bad, and that they were going down to try to get visibility of the runway at this time. But by the time that they got the visibility of it, they were just too close and too high at that time, so they had to divert out, which made that other big sweep there to come back to the final approach. And what he was stating at that time is that this plane, with the landing gear down, full flaps, it simply ran out of energy, and that they were probably doing everything that they could to keep this plane up, but the plane just simply could not do it. And it was an unfortunate situation to have that end like that. But now here's the other interesting parts about everything, because there were witnesses that contacted him following this right here, who were there. And this is where the radio transmission comes in, because there was actually 5 different radio transmissions that came in to the witnesses, because there was an FBO, which is a fixed-based operator, that was there, that was equipped with a radio and a speaker. And through these transmissions, one of the people that were there, and apparently there were several people in there, but one of these people recorded this transmission, and this is from Jack. And by all accounts, Jack made all 5 of these. These were telling them their positioning and everything else during different things. But I'll play this for you right here. This is from Dan's Probable Cause YouTube page. But take a listen.
We found an issue with some of our things. So please hold takeoff for runway 10. We're having some issues here. We're going to try to turn back.
So it's interesting to me that I've not heard this before, and that's why I wanted to share it with everyone here today, because I haven't heard none of these things like this. It's the first time. And again, I want to share this with the racing community, because I'm not sure how many people follow or pay attention to the other aviation experts that are covering this. But one thing he did want to note with this situation right here was that Jack, his voice was calm throughout all this right here, and also that there was no alarm sounding through the radio transmissions. So what he's saying is that this would implicate that there was no fire in the cockpit, nothing like that, no imminent danger right there at the moment. So it's just sad. It's sad in so many aspects that the different things could have took place and maybe changed the outcome, but as fate has it, that wasn't the case. And another very interesting note to this right here was that there was a plane that was taxied out on the runway behind the Biffle flight. And I found this very interesting as well, because I have not heard anything about this either. This plane was a Aztec, and it did, in fact, take off following the Biffle plane, and it itself circled back around to come back to land. Now, I don't know if this was because of weather, visibility, things of that nature, but it did come right back around to land itself. And the interesting part was that it landed on runway 10, which is where the Biffle plane had its final resting place, and this plane landed on that runway while that plane was there on fire. I could not imagine that. I could not imagine any of this. Now, again, I can't verify any of this stuff. This is speculation on his part. Again, he wants to do this because he wants other people who could possibly be in this situation to be safe and not go through this. And it kind of seems to outrage him that it takes so long for the NTSB to put this out. Which I don't understand all the things that take place with this. But it seems like he's trying to do good with this in this situation. But again, this is not my ball field right here. Not my area at all. But if more people have expertise in this and want to comment on stuff with this, if you've watched his episode and have, because I'm going to tell you, when I looked at this, there was over 2,000 comments on his episode, and hundreds of thousands of views. And a lot of the people who commented on there were pilots themselves, pilots who were in the area that day, who were talking about the weather, visibility, the conditions, that they were that bad. And also people who fly these planes, the exact same plane, who had their thoughts and agreed with him on this scenario. So again, speculation. Please do not hold me accountable about this, anything. We'll see what comes out through the NTSB and everything else. And I'm not placing blame on anybody. It was just a very interesting episode that he has. Seems to make a lot of sense. And if true, will answer a lot of questions. But again, please throw your comments down below if you have any expertise in this, or if you just want to talk about it. And it's still, my heart still breaks for everybody. Still so hard to believe. Man, it's a great time for everybody just to come together in so many ways. So I hope everybody does. And man, hope you're having a great week out there. And we'll see you at Checkered Flag.